Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Nicholas Achoorpu, one-stop destination for learning, RPA Business Analyst and Managers. So we are going to discuss one of the interesting topics, so that is challenging faced by RPA Business Analyst in their entire RPA journey. So for that, I have invited one of my friends, Shraddha from Mumbai. So before going to the discussion, I would like to give a quick introduction about Shraddha. So Shraddha is having around 3 years of experience, and she is working as an RPA business analyst in one of the company in India. So she is having very good knowledge in RPA and working for good projects. And she's been having more knowledge in BA perspective and even the digital transformation journey. So I would like to call Shraddha into the stage. And hi, Shraddha.
Hi, Nicholas. Thank you so much for calling me, and thank you so much for this good introduction. Okay.
Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you so much for coming us and educating the people. And thanks for being accepting that. And before going to the discussion, I would like to add one more point about Shraddha. So she started her journey with automation only, like RPA only. So without any prior knowledge, so she started her own journey by learning herself and being motivated herself and started the RPA journey. And currently she's working very good with RPA in to the domain of PA. And so I'm really proud of you, Shraddha. So thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so much.
being motivated or giving an inspiration for new beginners or who going to start their journey. So Shraddha is a good example and first example I can tell. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, so I think Shraddha, we are good. So let me go into the discussion. So today we are going to discuss about the challenges. So we know there will be lots of challenges in every project, but coming to the RPA, it is something different, challenging. So can you please tell me, did you had any challenges experience in your career, or how you been traveling this? So before going to the technical, so can you please tell me how you transformed your career into this RP?
Yeah. Uh, Transforming, talking about the transformation of in a career after completing my engineering. I've done my engineering from IT. So after completing my engineering, I directly jumped into an RPA, and initially I started with learning about the development perspective. What are the things? How RPA works? What is the general automation? RPA process analyst. How is everything RPA works? And how the bots are created, what how using what tools and technology bots are created. So getting into the space, and then I decided, like, I was majorly interested into a business analyst or a process analyst role, and my skill set also matched with this role. So I requested the company which I'm working right now, they have given me this opportunity, and I've worked with them, and they also trained me very well. And I where I am into a like here I am working from the initial phase of the project, getting their use cases done, and then I've worked on multiple POCs. So, and after that I've been to the project, so I have idea of each and every phase of automation. So that was a good, like, I would say it was challenging. Obviously we face challenge in everything, but it was challenging, but at the same time it was quite interesting, and moving forward and knowing the different methodology used, and different scenarios, dealing with this was such a great journey, I would say.
Yeah, it's really inspiring, Shraddha, because whoever coming from the fresher background or even IT
Mhm.
guy, but want to come into RPA, like he's working in testing, he's working in SAP. So
Yes,
definitely, so you will tell ki RPA is not that much hard, or RPA is not a
yes,
robot, like we can't create it, or we cannot. People think like, oh, you are robotics, so I cannot do it. So you people only can do it. So people
so
listen, we
no,
are having some.
you should have that certain, you should have that certain skills, you should have that certain the acceptance that yes, you can do it, and you should have that certain skills to deal with the projects and to deal with the team. Mainly what I would say, the being a BA, only for my specific role, being a BA, it is not about leading the team, it is about managing the team. So how do you manage the team? How do you keep maintain the relationship within your team? So it is a very important aspect, and to grow into our domain, to grow into as in business analyst.
Yeah, that's really good point, Shraddha. So, and before, like as you said, you faced the transformation, so that is really wonderful. So let's jump into the technical topic and technical discussion. So, Shraddha, and do you had any experiences like in the complete journey? So, do you have any challenges faced, or the challenges will not be there? How you will tell this? Like challenges will be there, or challenges will not be there? How you will tell this?
See, Niklesh, challenges are everywhere. Every phase of automation, like in a complete automation life cycle, you face challenges in every while requirement gathering, while initial process assessment, while developing, while testing, while even while delivering. So we face challenges in every aspect. The important point is how do you deal with it, how do you take the challenges as, and getting panic or getting overexcited over a challenge will lead you to take a wrong decision sometimes. So staying calm and dealing with challenge, and when you have that bond in your team, with your team members, with your managers, with your process owners also, when you have that certain relationship, when you maintain a rapport with everyone into a team, you can face challenges easily, you can come out of it very easily. Otherwise, I would say challenges is everywhere. So important aspect is that. So that
That got it. So you say like without challenges, we are not driving our RPA
yes,
journeys.
yes, because RPA is something where we work in waterfall and agile methodology, right? So it is very fast-paced process, and you know certain like challenges we miss out something, or there are many points that we have not covered in past. So having that good strong team will help you to face this kind of challenges. And as I said, challenges are every in each and every phase, we face different kind of challenges.
Got it. So, and when we're talking about the challenges, so can you please let us know ki, what are the challenges we do face like in a PA, especially PA, when they were in the requirements or IPA? So how you will address it? How you will tell that?
In a IPA phase where we are, it's certain in certain companies we create a backlog from we if there is already a backlog created, or we have to create sometimes a backlog. We have to get processes from different departments. That is also a part, but mostly this part is being done with managers and everyone. So after getting the processes, now you have certain 10 to 15 processes which we have to automate, but we have to first analyze the processes. So while dealing with this phase, um, it is possible that certain processes are not good for automation, are not fit for automation due to many other reasons. So BA, it's a very crucial part of BA, where BA should be able to address like why this is not a good fit for automation. You should be able to give that proper answer, a proper statement, that because of less ROI, or because of less AHT saving, this process is not being good for automation. So it is a role of a BA, and BA should be, this, where it is fit for automation, you can proceed it further with solution designing and with requirement gathering. It's okay. But at the initial phase, where you get a high level of introduction about a process, it is very important for a BA to understand, like if it is the process is not good for automation, so you have an appropriate answer for that particular. You have an appropriate reason why is it not automated. So because you have to answer the team, you have to answer the users, everyone. So that is something in an IPA stage, I would say this is a challenge which a BA can face. And how do to come up with this, you should know the parameters of automation, like the whether it's the process is repeatable, or whether the process is going to change in next 6 months. So you should have that parameter stated. You should know about this parameter, the assessment which is used to analyze the processes.
Yeah, really good point. And adding to that, even I can bring one of the one of the scenario where I faced personally. Like, see, when I went to the customer, so I took the requirement and I'm just listening what they're taking, and I asked a number of questions. Everything going well, but the semi opposite person is thinking our robot is like a humanoid robot. Like, he's thinking like everything, whatever he say in the process, he tells like, yeah, yeah, it can be automated na. चलते हैं ना, क्या है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, you can automate, right, you are robots. So I then at that time this BA should be able to
Yes.
explain him. So did you had any experiences like which I shared, and how you will give the
Yes.
tips for the.
Yes, every time, whether initial phase when I first meet SMEs, when I first interact with them, they are, first of all, they have a mindset that or robot is going to take away their job, robot is going to take away their process. So as a BA, when you are the initial person who interacts with the user, so as a BA, you have to initiate this conversation that see, this is going to help you out. This is going to increase your productivity in a many different ways. So you have to clear that taboo from their mind that this is not this is something else. And when you initiate this discussion with them, you have to keep in mind that you have to also explain them that this is something a bot which will only mimic your act, which will only which will only repeat what you are doing, and it will only proceed with the things you are training him for. So you have to explain the user. And also when I start with the requirement gathering phase, my very first question to the SMEs and process owners is to give me a brief about that process. Because even if you're working in the same domain, you get a processes from different departments, right? So every process have their own jargons, have their own terms, own scenarios. So getting the proper understanding or getting a brief about the process is very important. So in future you can decrease the level of challenge or the risk in the process by asking, by getting to know the whole brief, the business process of the one particular process. So you have to ask the user, give me a brief about the process. From where do you get the file? Which department runs the process? And from to whom you send this file? So getting a brief knowledge is also very important. And you can reduce the risk, reduce the challenges in after stage.
Got it. So I actually I want to ask that question on like what kind of questions you will ask when you're in IBA, but you covered that really wonderful. So thanks for that. And see, when you're talking to the SMEs usually, so they don't know, some of the SMEs may have their RPA knowledge, and some of the SMEs don't have the RPA knowledge. And some people, as you shared already, you need to communicate with them and all. And
Yes.
when these BAs are going to a new domain, for example, I may work for banking, but tomorrow my process is SME is finance. So how this kind of situation, this kind of challenge actually we need to handle. He don't know the finance departments, but how he need to go forward.
As a BA, I have worked in 2 to 3 domains, more than that, basically. But as a BA, you actually, every time you don't have all the domain knowledge. So as I said, you have to first interact with user and get to know what the, even if you have a knowledge of one particular domain, the processes are different. The processes plays different role. So you have to ask the user itself, because the user have been working on it from from so many years. So you have to ask user like, why is this, why, what is the main purpose of this process, what is, from where do you get the input, and who is the main what is the process roles and responsibility, and how does this process help in the organization, or what is the frequency, and all these certain small questions you have to ask. And as I said, into domains, like it matters, like domains also matters, but as an BA you have to understand the process. When you go for automation, you have to understand the process overview. So yes, you have to understand the process overview in despite of whatever the domain the processes are.
Got it. Thanks for that. And see, when we complete this IPA and the requirements, immediately immediately or the parallel activity BA used to do document the processes which been identified. So, did you had any personal challenge, personal experience in the getting challenges of documentation? Because BA is I can say he cannot stop in one stage, or he will not be stopping
Yes,
himself in for one stage. He will be, his journey will be continuous and he will be documenting a lot. So what
everything.
kind
Yes.
of challenges you personally faced and in the documentation stage?
Yes. In a documentation, I would say the main challenge is the as-is process, because you have to, you have to sit with SMEs and you have to develop an as-is process if the as-is is not being documented by the team. So while developing and while creating the PDD document, when you have an as-is process, I recommend users to give the screenshot to, instead of creating imagination in your head, instead of creating a cloud in your head of the steps, you get a screenshot of that particular step. So one particular aspect is getting a screenshot of each and every steps, whether it's an application or it's if it's an Excel manipulation. You can jot down the steps, what users do. Okay. And even this is when you have an as-is process. And what if you don't have an as sorry, this is when you don't have an as-is process documented. And if you have an as-is process documented, firstly you have to check whether the as-is document given by the user is updated one or not, because many times it happens that the document is not updated. So you have to check whether the document is updated or not. And then secondly, you have to actually, if they have as a process, you actually have to go through each and every step, because many a times it happens they use their jargons, they use their terms, and it happens that developer won't understand this terminology because it is stated into their own language. So it is very hard to understand their terms and statement. So even if you have the as a process very much documented, you again have to document it so that our developer will understand it very clearly. So anyhow, you have to work on this, even if you have it then also. And then you have to, get these screenshots done, and also you have to update it, uh, like whatever in 2B process, if you can say, while documenting, while having a PDD creation, even you have to work on 2B process. So, or after understanding the process, after understanding the whole process, after requirement gathering phase, when you sit for 2B documentation, you actually have to sit with the solution architect person also to design a complete flow of the process. uh, Small, one level of, at least one level of solutioning should be given by a BA. And also if solution architect adds some extra solutioning to in a 2B process, the BA should be aware of that part, because after all you are going to deal with developers. So it is very essential for BAs to understand, to get all the parameters, statement, scenarios covered. And even the negative scenario should be covered into a 2B document with 2B document and workflows. So this is quite challenging for BA sometimes, because I've seen many multiple times that BAs are not from technical background. So what I feel is uh, sometimes BA should have that technical skills also, and should be able to understand the technical terms also, so that you can sit with a solution architect and you can help him. And even because solution architect is not the person who sits with SMEs, who knows all the scenarios which is going to be covered into the process. So yes, so
Got
negative scenarios and everything should be covered into this document.
Got it. It's really wonderful tips you have given. And adding to that, so I would like to say one more thing, like a suggestion or a tip. So whenever the SME is not able to give the steps or something, ask him to at least record the complete process and give us the video.
Yes.
Then we will
Yes.
understand in a single shot, like if he is not available also, we will be able to see the video multiple times and we can go with the questions, not asking the process again, but at least
Yes.
we will go with the questions we have and we will sort it on the one discussion only. So I will suggest, like whenever you don't SME don't give the time, then ask them to don't give ask give the time only to record a video and give me, and I will check the video. And if it is possible, then list down all the queries and go with the flow. So that is just an add-on. And see, when you see the documentation is completed and you've been taking the sign off, and yeah, what I say,
Yes.
like you understood the process, so that is crystal clear. That is fine. But one more challenges we do face usually to get the accesses, right? So your technical team will ask you, hey, Shraddha, go to the client and ask the X and Y Z accesses. But again, client will not be able to ready. Yeah, Shraddha is asking, then we need to give. No, it is not like that
Yes.
situations,
Like
right? So what kind of situations you faced and how you will solve it?
yes, for access related, I would say, when you are into a documentation phase, when you get into a documentation phase only, what I prefer, I want to add one more point to that phase. What I do, I get a dummy data from user after this recording. Even I do this recording part and everything. I get a dummy data from a user, and I see manually to I with the as is because I before creating with to be process I have my as is process. So for certain steps manually I get the dummy data from user and I insert the data and see how the process goes on. And also, if as you said, if SMEs are not more interactive, sometimes it happens that as SMEs don't give much time and they are not more interactive. So even you can break the requirement gathering phase. When this situation arises, you can break the requirement. For certain scenario, we'll set this at this time, and for certain scenario, we'll set at this time. So this will increase the engagement between the SMEs and us. So increasing the engagement would obviously definitely they will they will engage more and they'll get to know, even they will share the scenarios. If we get break these requirement gathering stage also, so we can cover in more. You can ask detailed questions in each and every steps, and you can get a detailed structure of at least one module cover in requirement gathering at stage itself. Okay. So as you asked about the access related part, what I do basically when you are into documentation phase, the UAT access and this access related part, I initiate the request from the respective team or whoever that IT team or to whom we have to concern. I usually you can go to managers or you can go to the SMEs and they can get you to a concerned person. You can initiate the request in the earlier stage itself. So when you are in the documentation stage, you can ask for a request, or you can ask for an access in the of the development stage. And when you are actually into a development stage, you can ask the access for UAT stage, and so on. So I use that thing into an access.
Technique.
Also, I want to add one more thing into access related. uh, I'll take an example. Suppose there is an user A and he does an process of a customer XYZ, and there is a user B who does an process of ABC. So they both the processes are same, but the customers are different of both for both of them. And sometimes I have faced this thing. The processes are same, so you can automate it in a one single process in a one single go, right? But as only the customers are different, so and suppose there is an application in a same application in for both the users. This is something very minute because the A person is given access for that relative customers only. So there can be chances that certain boxes, certain clicks would be pre-selected for them in the application, because the user has been given that particular access only. So, but you can reuse the components in our code. You can reuse the process flow and create a one flow, one process only, because the customers are different and input file and everything is same. So in this situation, you have to actually, as in PA, you actually have to pay attention to pre-selected terms, to pre-selected boxes that uh, the pre-selected ones. You don't have to use that pre-selected one. You actually have to, into an development part, into an code part, you actually have to structure this. You have to actually select this thing. So this is something which I have faced in the access part and application part, I would say.
Yeah, that's really good example and you shared. Great, thanks so much. And see, when we after the access part also, in the development stage is started, and so BA is not a part of the development, but definitely he should be addressable to the client what is development is going and how your team is working. And here also we do face a number of challenges apart from the actual technical development. So did you had any experiences in the development as well?
Yes. As you said that BA is not a part of development, I would not agree to this, because as we use agile methodology, we actually have to see every day work, every day development progress, and whatever the development issue, and whether it's an access related, or whether it's an application related, or whether it's in data related. So you have to be present in with developers every time, and you have to address them to these issues. And because developers are not going to connect with SMEs, you are the face for SME, and you are the also face for developers. So you have to every stage, every point, you have to be connected with developers and get to do, like, what is the process, what is the progress in the development phase. And also in development phase, most of the times you face issues, challenges related to data, related to applications. And so these are small challenges which you face in day-to-day life, and you have to deal with this. And uh, and also in a development, before, as I said, I manually do it, full steps, full process. I manually sit with my, before starting with the development, I sit with my developer, get a dummy data from a series, and we perform the whole process manually, and then we start with the development phase, or then we start with implementation. So this is something which you can which will help you a lot, and which will reduce your challenge, because there would be a point at at mid level of the development, where this scenario is not going to cover, because of we don't have a data. So at least you can start with your development, and you can ask for that data, so it won't stuck your development.
Yes, that is wonderful. So, what I said is actually in the earlier, BA is not part of development in the sense. Yes, BA will be in the each stage each day, but
Yes.
BA won't write the code. So I'm telling that BA will not be available in creating the robots or deploying the robots like that. So, but thanks for correcting that as well. And see, when this development is ongoing and immediately you will have the testing phase or testing to be ready. So did you had any again challenges in the testing part, and what kind of challenges majorly we do see in the testing and UAT?
Yes, in a UAT, I would say, first of all, many times this happens that UAT data is not updated one. So the most frequent challenges faced in UATs, I would say, it is something related to data and UAT application, or also it is possible to get a CR in UAT phase when you be into an UAT phase, and when you are giving you are giving the whole your testing review to you're testing the whole process with owner, then the owner will realize that this is something part which was missing, or simply because of data. Sometimes it happens that because of data we are not able to give the appropriate output to the user. So for that, what I would say, what many times what I do for an application part, we use the application UAT code, and for data related part or for data manipulation, what I ask the user to give their uh, files from production environment or any dummy set of data where you can actually work, and then we use that file as an input, and then we proceed further, so that at least you will be able to understand that the application part is also working fine and your data part is also working fine, you're getting an accurate result.
Yeah, got it. And see, UAT testing fine. Even in the demos also, we used to have the some of the challenges. Even I had when we are giving the demos. So, what kind of challenges faced in demo, or how it is in demos actually?
Mostly in demos you'll say face that a different kind of CR coming up, or different different scenarios are coming up, which SAB say this was not mentioned in this is something which is not mentioned in the process, or while even giving demos, uh, uh, it is possible that your code is not working fine. So mostly what I prefer while giving a demo is to record everything and then present that recording to the user. Also, like firstly, we have a recording ready, and if everything goes right, then if they want to, it's on them. If they want to see the process being executed with the live data or with their set of data, we can run the bot. But at least getting a recording ready is something which is very essential before demo, and also the CR chances are more in demo. If
Yes,
the
this is the wonderful suggestion. All PS should actually note 100%, because you should be ready with your video before you are going to your actual demo. Take the demo and record it and keep it in your drive. Even if tomorrow is demo failing, you can directly open that video and play in your demo session. So that will
yes,
gives the customer confidence. You will be confident, your team will be confident. So
yes,
that
but
is
I
really,
yes.
yeah, go
What
ahead.
basically, yeah, basically what I do at the end of the week, like or in the start of a week, whatever the week progress is, I get it. I do it complete video recording and save it as in this week's progress. This week's progress request. So at least you have that confidence within a team. So last week we have achieved this much of the process, and this week we have to move forward with some other additional part. So also we get a video recordings, because in between if someone asks you like what is the progress or what is the current status, and you are currently into a development phase where you cannot run the, or you are testing something or whatever the situation is, so you have that ready with you and you can display that at least.
So it is another good tip you have given, and good really good step and good technique which BA should always be use it. So thanks for that. And see, when these UATs are done successful and you are in the deployment and might be in delivery stage also, at the last also you will, yeah, tomorrow sir my bot is going to be very happy. Then at that last also we see a number of challenges again. So how this phase you handled and how it is?
Delivery phase, but is it in a delivery phase when you are dealing with a thick client or a thin client, if that actually matters. So if you are dealing with thin clients, then every environment, media environments and every other environments should be in place. And in a delivery phase, measure from SMEs to BA related, we have to make SABs understand, make the process owners understand to how to execute the bot. and how to if there is any input file involved, so what is the path, or how you are going to interact with the bot. So that is something which you have to treat, you have to tell the process owners. And what I feel from documentation perspective, sometimes I feel PDD is much easier, and when it comes to user manual documentation, you have to mention each and everything, and with screenshots, and if the error comes, and where is the logs, where you can find the logs, and everything you have to mention into user manual, and users should understand that. So sometimes I feel user manuals are a bit tough than
Yeah,
creating PPT.
definitely. User manuals are where handover documents or the user manuals are a little bit tricky, because whenever the
Yes,
document is seen by the unknown person of an RP also, he should
yes,
or
they should
she should
understand.
understand, and they can start executing the robot. So that's a wonderful point. So you suggest key. So when you are creating the handover, please be careful.
Yes.
So that is also good point. So as you said, your bot is already delivered, and I mean you trained your SME, and right now it is in deploy. I mean it is going running fine. You people are working on the maintenance and support phase. So again in the maintenance or support phase also, suddenly your bots are failed or something like that. How you will again address this?
For the first two goes, what I suggest for the first two goes, you can sit with user, and you can be present with them while they execute the bot. And as you said, if something goes wrong after delivering the product, and after some times, then you should get your support team ready to assist the user, and also you should be there to assist them, or to to give them to inform them, like you are there if anything goes wrong, and the support team is going to help you out. And majorly I haven't found any such situation where completely everything is going wrong after delivery. And if it goes wrong, then you have to also explain the SMEs, like for what reason is it going down. Is it going down because of some application issue, some infrastructure level issue, or some what if the from process perspective, or it's a bot issue. So what issue is it? So even you should be able to identify with the you should sit with or you can connect with support system, or you can connect with SMS to identify what type of issue it is. So after getting known what type of issue, you can work further. So that's it.
Yeah, that's really good. Again, see, when you are in, your bot is already delivered, or before that also in the demo stage or in any stage, SMEs or the business owners will come with these years, which they didn't inform you earlier. Usually we see it. So how you will deal again? There is a scenario which you don't know earlier, which is not documented, or how you will deal this situation.
Yeah. For CR, as in BA, you should you should be able to access the CR part. Like if the CR is coming, like because CR is not something bug or issue fixing kind of stage. You actually have to take it as in CR, but if it is not mentioned earlier in PDD, and if it was not discussed earlier in any space, so you should be able to get the scope of CR, and how it will impact my whole process flow. You should know that, and what would be the effort for that CR. And if suppose you are in a UAT phase, and any such kind of CR comes, so you should be able to not able, but you should know that whether to proceed with the CR first. Is it if there are 2 to 3 CRs, what is the priority of each CR? And you should move forward with your current process, whatever you have in your UAT phase. You should move forward with that, and then you can implement the CR and deploy it, or you have to wait at the UAT stage, or implement the CR and then you have to move forward. So all this decisioning part, and all this getting a sign off from for that particular CR, is something you need to do as in BA. So CR, I would say every aspect of CR is challenging, and to get the effort estimation of CR, to get the scope, to understand the scope, the impact of CR is something which comes under BA. And BA should be the BA should interact with developers and with respect to CRs, and with solution architect with respect to CR for implementation and for everything related to CR.
Yeah, that is also one important point you brought. I about to ask that, but again you covered it. So I think we have covered everything, whatever the challenges we usually face in the BA with respect of each and every stage. I think you have covered everything with each and every real-time scenario. So I think it was a really wonderful, wonderful discussion with you, Shraddha. Thank you so much for coming up and being the part of the initiative and always available for educating the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Niklesh, for having me. Thank you so much.